In many ways, I regret going to college. I spent 3 years of my life and about $55,000 studying for my bachelor's degree, and I often do think, knowing what I know now, if I could reverse time, would I actually go to college, or would I spend those 3 years doing something else? And honestly, there's a very good chance that I would choose not to go, because since graduating about 4 years ago, I've learned that the real skills that you need for success are just not taught within the curriculums of the formal education system. So in this video, I'm going to go through 7 powerful skills that you really should be actively working on to live a kind of successful life. If you're studying at college right now, even if you're an exceptional student with incredible grades, you're still only learning the same content as everyone else, right? So you may not be setting yourself apart from the competition as much as you might think. But if you work on developing these 7 skills in your own time, that's when you really start gaining a competitive advantage. And skill number 7 at the end of the video is significantly more powerful than numbers 1 to 6, because if you have skill number 7, you accelerate the learning of the other 6. 1. How to date. I've never in 6 years of making videos for this YouTube channel made a video on dating advice. But choosing your life partner is one of the biggest decisions you'll ever make. It's a decision that could affect you every single day for the rest of your life. So it's an area that the education system should teach to prepare you for the real world, right? But do they? No. So it's on you to learn yourself, even just learning the very basics like communication, right? Communicate with your partner, communicate what you want. He or she isn't a mind reader, right? So communicate in a calm and supportive way. Don't just wait for the problem to blow up. And trust, in my opinion, one of the most important components to a relationship. I remember a speech from a few years ago. It was one of those things that you hear and kind of a light bulb goes off in your head and you're like, damn, that's so true. It was actually the chairman, or the ex-chairman and CEO of JP Morgan at the time, Jamie Dimon, and he said, if you want people to trust you, if you want to be known as someone with integrity, don't lie. Don't even stretch the truth. So if you want your partner to trust you, don't lie, don't even stretch the truth, because trust takes years to build, but literally seconds to break. And that's the same with romantic relationships, business relationships, family relationships, friendships, literally any kind of relationship. It's relationship 101, right? The core fundamentals that if you learn will make your life a whole lot easier. Number 2, public speaking. So Warren Buffett was asked what's one skill that a new graduate can learn as soon as they leave college and step into the job market to significantly increase their value. And this is what he answered.
One of the things you would want to be sure to do is, whether you like it or not, get very comfortable, it may take a while, with public speaking, for example. I mean, that's an asset that will last you 50 or 60 years, and it's a liability if you don't like doing it or are uncomfortable doing it, that also will last you 50 or 60 years, and it's a necessary skill.
I think it's such an underrated skill, and to be fair, often schools and universities, they do teach this indirectly when you have like class presentations, right? But to really stand out, you could take it to the next level and doing public speaking classes or joining a club like Toastmasters. And Toastmasters is a non-profit, so it's extremely cheap to join, and there are clubs all over the world. And as an employer, when I see applicants with extracurricular activities like this on their CV, my eyes kind of light up, because it shows they're actually working on building up their skill set outside of the formal education system. And I'm practicing what I preach. I'm actively working on improving my own public speaking skills. This month alone, I'm keynote speaker for a video marketing event here in Saigon, and I'm guest speaker for 2 other business events. So definitely a skill worth mastering, because as Warren Buffett says, it's an evergreen skill that will be with you for the rest of your life. Number 3, how to run a business. University is great if you want a 9-to-5 job as an accountant or lawyer, or if you want to become a doctor, then university is the obvious path to go down, right? But what if you don't want to go down that path? What if you want to start your own business and live life on your own terms? The problem is that many students don't even know that they have this option. Society kind of pushes us down the traditional path, right? But then the problem goes deeper when you realize that even students studying business aren't taught how to start and grow their own business. So we have a marketing intern working here with us, and he studies marketing at university, and they don't even teach him about social media, about TikTok, about Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, when these are some of the most powerful marketing platforms out there. I don't know, it's crazy to me, and it doesn't really make sense, but it really just highlights how outdated our formal education system can be and why it's so important to learn these skills in your own time. Number 4, how to deal with failure. So networking plays a big role in how I run my business, and so I reach out to people all the time, either through emails or DMs, usually influencers, business people I kind of look up to and admire. Now, I can't tell you how many times I've fired off an email and I've literally just been ignored or just outright rejected. It happens all the time, but also I can't emphasize enough how okay I am with that. Failure is a big component to success, and so you need to be comfortable with it. In fact, I would even say if you're not failing enough, that in of itself is a failure, because it probably means that you're not pushing yourself enough or operating at your full potential. It reminds me of a quote that I heard just last week in an interview with Chris Do, founder and CEO of The Futur, and he said, "A failure is the tuition you pay for success. Don't waste a good failure." I love that quote particularly because by calling it a good failure, you're seeing that failure in a positive light, like it's going to help you grow. In fact, I loved it so much, I added it to my knowledge bank in Notion, where I add all the, what I would call golden nuggets that I learned from podcasts, books, videos, etc. because I really don't want to forget that quote because it's so powerful, and I know that if I don't write it down, I probably will end up forgetting it. Now, in some ways, college does teach you how to fail. I mean, we've all failed exams, right? And we know how depressing it could make you feel. But the education system doesn't teach you what to do next. It doesn't teach you how to bounce back. It doesn't teach you to actively self-reflect and kind of learn what mistakes you made and improve them for the next exam. And it's that kind of conscious effort of making incremental improvements that stack up over time. That's a skill that you need to teach yourself. I think too many students are too obsessed with studying, I don't know, X number of hours, 10 hours a day, 12 hours a day, but they don't realize that they could actually cut their studying time in half if they study more efficiently by using learning and memorization techniques to learn their course content in time for the exam. And I mapped these study techniques out in the Transform Your Grades course that we launched about 1.5 years ago. It's basically a complete roadmap from A to Z of how I transformed my own grades from a 1.3 GPA at high school to a 4.0 GPA at university. And I'll tell you this, I didn't do it studying 12 hours a day. In fact, I probably averaged maybe 6.5 hours a day, but I studied efficiently using techniques such as the SQ3R method, the FLIPS learning model, and my own 3-step system that I used for every single exam. And when I say the course is a complete roadmap, I really do mean it. I cover lifestyle basics like making sure your mental and physical health is in check, daily habits and routines, even strategies such as networking that can help you get ahead and achieve higher grades. We've had hundreds of students enroll and transform their own grades, so if you're interested, click on the link in the description below and I'll see you on the inside. Number 5, money management. This is something that I'm still scratching my head over. Why in 2022 does the education system still not teach us how to manage our money? At high school, I had to go to music class. It was mandatory, we had to. And in those classes, I learned at an extremely basic level how to read music. On the one hand, that's pretty awesome, but when I'm spending double what I'm earning, when I'm sitting in $200,000 of debt, when my credit cards are all maxed out and then some, and when I'm sitting homeless on the street because I have literally no money, well, I'm really glad that I took those music lessons at school. Or not. Because in my opinion, money management should be mandatory. Unfortunately, most of us have to learn from our parents, and if our parents have poor money management, we'll probably learn those bad habits too. And that's why it's important for you to break that cycle and learn how to budget, learn how to save, learn how to invest your money. 6, the meaning of success. The education system teaches us that you must get a good job after you graduate. And by good job, we usually mean a well-paid job, right? That's the main goal that society pushes us towards. But I think as a society, we kind of need to redefine what the word success actually means. In my opinion, we need to decrease the emphasis on wealth accumulation and put more emphasis on waking up in the morning, going to a job that you genuinely love doing. But also, it's about living a more balanced life, right? It's about building yourself up to become the best version of yourself that you can be, because in doing that, you'll achieve more, you'll be more confident, you'll be happier, and you'll be more successful. The education system doesn't teach us about personal development, and that's why it's on you to develop your skill set yourself. Number 7, self-education. So most people, when they think about education, they think about school and university, and most people have quite a negative perception with the education system, right? But when you really strip back what education is, it's essentially taking the data and knowledge that the world's greatest minds have created, like Albert Einstein in physics, or Alan Turing in maths, or Adam Smith in economics, and downloading that information into your brain. Now, this shouldn't be a boring process, but unfortunately, our formal education system has made it exactly that. Actually, quite boring. And not many people are reading thick, heavy textbooks in their spare time for fun, yet we're forced to at college, right? And that right there is the biggest reason why I have some regrets about studying for 3 years at university, because looking back over the last decade, I've learned significantly more through self-education than I did studying my 3-year economics and finance bachelor's degree. In fact, 99% of what I learned in my degree, I've completely forgotten about, and probably about 99.5% of what I learned 4 years later after graduating, I still haven't used. So self-education is, in my opinion, the #1 personal development tool. And that's why I uploaded a video just a few weeks ago on my #1 productivity hack, self-education, where I go much deeper on how self-education genuinely completely transformed my life. You can click on the card on the screen to watch that. Alternatively, I made another video on how I manage my time, tips for lazy people. This is more focused on how to stay productive, even if you're feeling tired or lazy or unmotivated. Again, you can click on the card on the screen, and whichever video you choose, I'll see you over there.